Because who wants to feel afraid? How are you free if you're feeling things you don't even want to feel?
I have it on film for people who don't know. You were crying. It was not just a normal cry and you knew you were going to be done. It was like you're crying and it's like, oh my God. It's like you were born again.
What do you do to feel more alive? How do I become full fledged? Is there more out there? How do I get so free that I could really
Oh,
experience something else out there?
whoa, I'm free. Like, whoa.
It's peanut butter jelly time. What's going on?
Hey, so today I was thinking that we could talk about our stories, and I want to talk about our darkest times and then how we got through it. You know, because we're going through weird times, COVID, and plus I just feel like full fledged life. We just started this channel.
For
I
sure.
want to know what that really means to you, and then I'll say what it means to me. Because
Damn.
if you can get through dark times, then what do you do? So what's your vision for the show, and what do you think full fledged life? What is that to you?
Dude, first of all, let me thank you for inviting me and help and editing the videos and stuff. And the way that this is going right now, I'm so excited. And I think it's, yeah. So, anyways, to answer your
Me too,
question,
man.
I would say that um, I think we're always gonna get problems. We're always gonna face like obstacles, but sometimes obstacles can be fun. There's obstacle games
Mm,
and stuff, so I think that it could be fun.
mm, mm,
Depends how you
mm,
do it. Depends
mm,
how you get through the
mm,
obstacles, right? And
mm.
who you get through it with. So I think that just because you
Mm.
got through an obstacle, oftentimes you want to be rewarded. That's what we were as a child. So I don't think that it's good to see it exaggerated because we don't like we're the shit. Like humans are the shit, and I think that it's just another thing that we do. But as far as full fledged life, I think where we want to create a platform where we can say all the things that we say to each other and lived. And I think that full fledged life incorporates all of that in the platform. I think we're looking for a platform. And if no one's going to let us share our message, we're going to create our own. We're going to create our own area to do it. And
Yeah, communicating the things that make life really like juicy, right? The meaningful things in life. Dude, what you just said is so cool because
thank
seeing
you.
seeing problems turn into fun obstacles.
I
Wow.
know.
Because I was thinking about this the other day. Like, if you see life, like I definitely saw life before, like problem after problem after problem, and then it's kind of like it can get overwhelming, and seeing it kind of just like in a
You think it's
different
going to go
way.
away at one point, right? Like
Yeah, you
it's
keep
just
on thinking
constant,
that once this happens, then my problems will be solved.
right?
But damn, what I love about you, man, is that you're light-hearted, and the way that you see things is so not serious, but it's still competent. It's not like it's irresponsible, but it's refreshing. And I picked that up from you for sure. To not have like this serious or this heavy outlook on life, where even if you can't get through the obstacle, it's kind of like you can laugh at it, but really thinking about life differently. So to me, full fledged life, my God. So I definitely
Yeah.
want to talk about um, depression, because I was so
Depression.
depressed and feeling that life getting sucked out of you. You don't feel like life's worth living, let alone you don't feel inspired. Um, you don't feel strong. And to me, full fledged life just means that you're happy and you're strong and you're having fun. You're laughing about life. You're enjoying life. You get to create something fun that you look at and you're like, man, this is beautiful. This is making me feel really good. And there's something about like having a stability and a consistency. And so how to get that? How to get that? That's an interesting thing because
Mm.
some people it comes really a lot more natural, don't you think?
Yeah, they don't even realize they're doing it. That's, you know,
Right.
right?
They're just
It's
laughing about
crazy
life.
talking
They
about
they
it.
haven't got caught up. They're
Like,
just kind of enjoying life, right?
mm, right? They don't realize that that another thing is sometimes I admire something from someone and they don't even realize that they're holding the thing that I want, maybe my whole life, or not my whole life. But and it just comes so natural to them. It's like you just wonder, like, you don't realize what you have. But then they might be worried about something else.
Mm.
So it's not that I don't think that let me rephrase that. I don't think that everyone has something that they're worried about. I just think that it's common for people to do that.
Yeah, what I feel like what you're saying is like you see somebody and you see how they're living, and however they're living, you're like, "Oh, I really like how they're like that." So like when I look at you,
Mm, for
you're
sure.
not worried from what I see. You're when I'm hanging out with you, I see that you're socially there, you're connected, you're socially intelligent. I like that about you. So when I feel that you're playing with thoughts, you're kind of like you're having fun, you're kind of like you're not uptight. I feel that same feeling. I'm like he's more full-fledged in that area. He's more like alive. He's like he's got
Like
that.
what you just said.
And one way that we can get that is just hanging out with the people who are like that. Like ever since I started hanging out with you, I definitely feel like whenever I'm kind of in a weird spot, I kind of remember your face. I don't know if you ever feel this,
Mm.
but I'll like remember your face, and then I'll kind of
Yeah, I
just
think
like
about you a lot.
be like,
Like it's kind of like you're like a caricature in my like story. Like so like
is
like
that it?
like hey, Jonathan's here. How are you? Like I don't know.
Bro, yeah, so I kind of feel the same way. Like I'll imagine you and then I'll be like, "Oh, damn, that's how he sees the situation." And then it brings lightness, laughter, and I feel so much better like looking at any heavier situation. And it's just because however you did it, you have that aspect of your mind, in your heart, whatever it is, your energy, you got that full-fledged more than me. And so like I think everybody does have that strength, like you're saying. And yeah, we can hang out with them and kind of like imbibe it just by being around them. But I guess that's kind of what this show will do too, because we really want to impart that, and we also want to learn. Like I feel like I learn, um, not just like talking and kind of like rewatching and observing myself, but like I learn every time I'm with you. I learn every
Yeah,
time I explore deeper topics and
for
try
sure.
to like I try to give my best perspective, my most helpful advice, and then I like to see how it bounces off you. I'm like, damn, like he sees it that I love thinking about it. So one other thing I want to say is yeah, we don't have the answers. Like nobody has all the answers, but it would be great if this became like a community where other people could submit videos or video ideas, or we could have other people on the show, and with the whole idea
Oh,
of
that's interesting. That's it. You know what I've always wanted to do with you? I've always wanted to go to people and talk about this type of stuff with people
yeah,
and see what me and you can do because we haven't really I don't know. Can you think of a point when we like went up to someone and they were like kind of on our same vibe talking to us? Like I just can't maybe one of your friends, but I don't I
interestingly enough, I feel like it does happen. We
it
can't force
does.
it to happen, but we're kind of I feel like a lot of times I am in that mode where I want to see like what other people really feel and think. But even just your energy, even just when we go up to people, I've noticed that we kind of we kind of have people just relax and start just being like really what they are. I love that. You ever feel like people are more like that when you're more like that, when you're just like relaxed, fun. The energy is just like flowing. You kind of feel them go from like more reserved to kind of just like
I
lighter.
feel like I don't even see the transition a lot. I've had people like it's like sometimes I feel like I'm thinking of one scenario and like I didn't see her change to be more like a different vibe. Like I didn't see her change, but she said like you're really interesting to talk to, or something like that. Your vibe is cool. I like your vibe, and like I don't see my vibe to people because I bring my vibe wherever I go. So it's like, what the fuck
Yeah.
was before that? Like, like, like
But compared to
was it
other
just like,
people,
ah! And like I'm here, like, how are you? Like,
yeah, bro, because one thing about your energy, um, how do I say this? Um, you're authentic. You
yeah, I
don't put
try to
on
be. I really try. Thank you
you're
for that.
real. You're
Thank
real.
you.
And I think you're really self-aware. And when you're just like you're not compulsively saying stuff, and you're also not compulsively staying quiet and reserving stuff. You're being like a kid. You're just reacting authentically. When people sense that, then they feel like they're gonna behave. They're free. They can behave like that too. Also, you know what I feel? The energy that I bring is like I'll give you an example. I bought this mobile home, and so I was at my neighbor's house because he mows my lawn. So I was talking to him. We were outside, and we were looking at this avocado tree, and it was his neighbor's avocado tree. And I love gardening. I love trees, and there was just like tons and tons and tons of avocados. So we're chilling under this avocado tree. Anyways, his brother comes out, and his brother is like shirtless, long mullet, and he's talking about, yo, I got these headshots. He's talking about like Call of Duty. And immediately when I saw him, he was giving off like tough guy vibes, you know? And he saw me, and he was smoking a cigarette, right? And so he was kind of giving off like tough guy vibes. But when I saw him, just being 100% transparent, I was just thinking like this guy seems really
Ah,
interesting. Like this guy seems like
yeah,
I
for
I don't
sure.
always do this, but for whatever reason, I was in this mode where I was just like, I love this guy. I love this guy. And I was looking at him just with a smile. I was like, I was thinking this is really cool. Like I'm with this guy who I'm vibing with under an avocado tree. I'm about to get some free avocados. And this guy's telling me his story about being addicted to opiates. And he's like our age. He's like being super open. I'm just in that hippie mode. So his brother comes out smoking, and I'm just thinking, I'm just feeling like I love this guy, and I see him soften. Like I see him soften and his eyes change and he starts acting like a little brother. And
Mm,
I say all this because our energy definitely
yeah,
changes how people respond and act, and they
yeah,
feel
dude.
it. I know for a fact. And
Yes.
even just bringing a new energy, I feel more alive. Like 100% when I'm hanging out with you, when I'm talking with you, I feel more alive. And that's a really special thing, man. Like for people who don't have that, I really wonder how many people don't have that. Like really lonely people. Um, I wonder, how many people are really like that because it's so awesome to have friends like that. But
Yeah. I
for
noticed.
people who don't,
I noticed you talk about like being free and stuff. What does freedom mean to you?
God, what a good question.
No, right? I like that too. I can't hide it. I can't. Go ahead. Sorry. If I get too much, like,
Wow,
all right, go for it.
man, because freedom is probably the most profound, beautiful thing
Yeah.
that you could ever consider. And to put it into a sentence, let me just feel what that really means to me right now, because I don't just want to compulsively answer.
Oh my god.
Freedom. Dude, to be honest, I think freedom is such a deep thing that we can hardly even understand how great it is to be free, because I really feel that we're such slaves to so many things. Whether it's like we can't think how we want, we can't feel how we want, and to be free in the most simple thing is just to like be able to feel how you want, be able to think how you want, not according to like habits, not according to like something happens so you feel like you have to have a shitty day. Um
So like control.
it's more than control. It's like it's a great feeling. You feel great because you're happy. Happiness makes you feel so free. You don't feel like thoughts are weighing you down, right? You don't feel like you're a slave to the bad thoughts. Freedom. Yeah, it's really it's like you're creating the thoughts that you want. You're creating the emotions that you want. You can talk to a crowd without feeling afraid, because who wants to feel afraid? How are you free if you're feeling things you don't even want to feel? If other people are making you feel ways that you don't want to feel, how are you free? You want to feel how you want to feel. You want to feel calm, peaceful, happy, authentic. And it sucks if somebody else is determining how you feel, but that's kind of how I feel a lot of people are living. And I'm still not completely free, because every day when I wake up, I'm not completely thinking all the thoughts that I want to think. I'm still cleaning certain habits of thought that I don't want to have. Like, um, I got really sucked into being obsessed with money, and so that got into like fear of not having money. That got into like hustle and a little bit of greed, just to be honest. And I'm getting so much better about it. But it's just such a crazy thing that all those things can be so subconscious and so practiced that they're on repeat, and they're habits that are just determining how you think, feel, react. And it's a very interesting, insidious thing. The topic of like self mastery and freedom, so that
So
you don't
do you
keep on
are you
acting.
explaining like so? So you said freedom to you is like being genuine, living the way you want, and then um, feeling like calm. I'm missing something.
Yeah. Okay. So to summarize it, it's really it's really feeling how you want. If it were up to you, how would you feel? We just want to feel good. We want to feel good. We want to feel happy. We want to feel loving. We want to feel
Sure.
creative and smart. But
I
that's
was
not.
thinking about this word access. Like I feel like when I feel free, it's like I get access to like I'm like going through like new layers of life are unraveling, and I feel like I'm going through boundaries or limitations, and I'm getting access, and I'm like, whoa, I'm free. Like, whoa, it's like different dimensions to me.
Ah,
Different dimensions
breaking free from things
from
that used
from
to
your
bind you
same
down.
barrier, like same curtain. Like I see it like a curtain, like I told you. I'm like where like the next curtain is like when you can keep going through curtains, that's when you feel free, like when you can keep going through it. And but what sometimes I feel like when you're only watching one show and you don't watch the show behind it for a while, you feel like you're not free. But I think that sometimes it's because the amount of time we spent in one consistent like manner.
Ooh, ooh.
I know, dude.
Freedom from delusion, freedom from those things that are keeping you from seeing
And
what's
we all
really
want a
there.
breakthrough, dude. We all want like this like huge explosion breakthrough. But really, maybe it's just something practical. Like we just want to meet a new friend or meet a or finish a project or do something, and then that's the breakthrough, and then you're stuck with that, and you're just like, that's not it. Because we always just like full fledged life. we're always growing to the fullest. That didn't really
Hmm.
relate well, but um,
It does. No, it does because practically, freedom is like exactly what you said. Like you want to be able to use it. Like you want to be able to talk to people online without stumbling. You want to be able to go up and tell that girl exactly how you feel. You want freedom
always feel
to
full. Like
feel happy
go
and
within
energized
like
and
within like
inspired.
go within, yeah, like levels, like on a video game. Like you're just trying to beat the next thing as fast as possible. So
Growing. But then
yes,
we also touched on a thing where it's like um freedom from yourself so that you can experience different dimensions of life, which is kind of like I'd say exploration. But you need freedom to explore because if you're afraid and you're bound by that, you're not free. You're not going to explore. If you don't have the resource, um, money is one thing, but if you're emotionally binding yourself by limitations in like belief, limitations in fear, limitations in doubt, then you're not free to explore and you're going to stay in the same cage. And I felt that, damn, I felt that so much. Hmm. God, that's
what if
such
we
a
didn't have these like things where,
interesting.
what if we didn't have this fear, like because when you're talking, I'm thinking like, what is it? Like what is? Oh, it's echoing by the way. Um, like
Yours or mine?
yours, I believe, and
How about now?
yeah, it's still yeah, it's still echoing. It might be mine, but I doubt it because
I don't hear an echo.
see if I can. But yeah, um, whatever. I'll keep going. Like when you're, I'm thinking like, what is fear? What is all of these bad things? And if we were taught these things, like the fact that we name fear something, like what is fear? Like you can just give me examples of it, but it's you're putting it in a sentence, but you're not telling me what it actually is. Like it's the state of something. Like, but that's it's like I just feel like the definitions of these things are beating around what it actually is because you can never really explain what it is. And that's a very like Tao way of thinking, like Buddhist way of thinking. But um, I still like I'm still curious about it.
All right, so I think that I see that, man, because I've dealt with fear so much, and it's so cool to see it diminish little by little. And I just want to say right off the bat, there's certain people I've been listening to a couple people like a lot of personal development experts say that fear you can't get rid of it, you just have to dance with it. I think that
Hmm,
that's completely
like that.
wrong, but
Interesting.
I like it more than bullshitting because a lot of times you cannot instantly just get rid of it. So you're gonna have to face it and interact with it the best way that you can. But eventually, it can go away. That's where I
Interesting.
because I've
I like
experienced
that.
it. It's okay. So we can break it down. You want to break it down?
Yes. Can I break it down? Because I think I have an example.
Break it down.
All right, dude. Oh, not kidding. Okay, so family issues. Like my mom used to have a lot of family issues. Sometimes when they're getting like hyper and they're getting kind of like crazy, I guess. Sometimes I would dance with it and I'd be like, I would just be like hyping myself and I'd do stuff and I'd put the energy towards different things. But like you said, dancing is not the only way to deal with it. That's like oh, here we go again. Da da da. She's going crazy. All right. You're kind of like, you're kind of like, there's like, it seems like to you, there's no way out. So you have to like learn how to live
Exactly.
in the crazy. But I agree with you. I don't think dancing is the only way because sometimes it does go away. But how does it go away? Like, that's my next question. And I think that it's, it's like you're asking something so logical because that's a logical question and there's not an answer for it. That's why it's so important to be aware of yourself, to be
Hmm.
aware in general. That's why I think,
Are you sure
and
there's
you
not an
can't,
answer to it?
is there?
So I want to touch on what you said. Like, okay, so when there's something outside of you happening, maybe you can't change them from being that way. But fear, when it comes to fear, fear is something that's happening within you. It's really thoughts that are scaring you. Okay. And sometimes it's a little bit ingrained because it's a thought habit, it's a thought pattern. And how to change that. That's what we're thinking. Let's make it really practical. So
Sure.
let me talk about a fear that I had. A fear of even talking to people. Legit. Like middle school, afraid to talk to people. Just shy. Just like 6th grade, could not sleep pretty much all night because it was my first day of school. Homeschooled first to fifth. 6th grade comes, not really socialized kid. I'm literally thinking like I'm gonna get lost. Everyone's gonna laugh at me. I don't know how to like make friends. So I'm terrified. I'm crying. My dad has to come in and like rub my forehead. I'm just freaked out. And I had to watch Jimmy Neutron the movie like that whole night just to try and feel better. So I go to school and it's not even bad. And so I'm like pumped. After school I'm like, yeah, like I love school. That was awesome. That night, scared shitless again. But it
Mm,
kept on getting less and less and less. And so I really thought about this because it kept on. I always had like a little bit of social anxiety. High school, who doesn't have a little bit of social anxiety? That's just low grade fear. It's just not full fledged fear. You get a little bit nervous when you have to like give a speech. You get a little bit nervous when you want to go ask a girl out, whatever. But you know, these things can go away, and they definitely have. Like I'm not afraid to go up to people anymore. I'm not afraid, really, to even give a speech anymore. So it's like the fear can go away, but it's not an instant thing. Um, you want to add anything in? Like,
I like that. Well, I wanted to talk about like I don't want to just change the subject, but I so you saw it go away like in like every night it got like better. Not every night, but I mean like it just got better over time.
oh, for sure, yeah. Like social anxiety can definitely go away, and like talking on stage is just it's just another form of social anxiety. If social anxiety can go away on a small scale, it can go away on a big scale. And I'm sure there's been tons of people who have gotten so much more comfortable, so much less fear about speaking in public, talking to women. What else is a common fear? Heights. Like you just do it. You just do it, and you realize that all the catastrophizing and all the lies and the stories that the gremlin in your head is telling you is just bullshit, and that you don't have to think that way. And you start thinking about the situation different. You start visualizing and anticipating the joy of the reward, and you're gonna feel good doing these things. You're gonna feel good making friends. You're gonna feel good connecting to girls. You're gonna feel good climbing that mountain or that tree. You're gonna feel good when you give a speech because these things are things that little kids can do, and so there's really no reason to be afraid of them. Fear is a very stupid thing, and it's like little kids can do all these things that we're afraid of. It's just because they haven't tricked themselves into thinking that it's this scary thing, and
Yeah,
there's freedom from
they
that.
haven't lived in it. I feel like they haven't lived in it that long too. Like just to add on, and damn,
They haven't
yeah,
lived in it.
fear of like yeah.
Like, okay, so like your beliefs about fear can keep you stuck in fear. Some people think that um, they haven't even
Mhm.
thought about it. Like,
Your
honestly,
belief. Wait, hold on. I have to process that. Your belief of fear has you stuck in it.
yeah, because you haven't
I
even
like
you
that.
haven't even identified what fear is. You're afraid of fear. If you're afraid of the feeling of fear,
Yeah, and then
you're
you
so
and
you're
then you're
so
just gonna be
confused.
afraid of when that fear is gonna come back. Like it's like you
Mhm.
almost like ingrained it as like a thing that's gonna pop out. It's just gonna pop out one day. It's gonna be like fears today. Oh, fear. Oh God, damn it.
Yeah,
And then everything's just about fear today. Like it's like the fucking word of the day. But
yeah. It's kind of like you don't
we're
understand
fucking
the enemy. You don't
dude.
understand. why it's
Crazy.
happening. You don't even understand that you're creating it. You have to understand that fear, it's really generated by your own thoughts and habits and beliefs. What are you
Dude,
doing?
this is what we do. This is what we do. We literally take it. We think about fear, and we let it crowd us. But we like it. Like some weird way, we like to just think about fear. But or maybe we don't know that we can just take it all. I
Yeah,
just like I
yeah.
don't think we realize the possibilities of life, of how like you can go from something crazy and then clutch your way to then not feel like that, and then your whole day turns around. Like your whole day, I think that's a good thing. Like your whole day, your whole life can switch in an instant. And I want to talk about that because I hear people fucking say that, and they don't really like go into it, so it doesn't really go through my head. But that means so much because um you're you're one decision away from changing your life, and or one feeling. That's why meditation is so important, because we just want you to be in such a boom, like meditation state, but you can just go boom, you can snap into it. Now obviously that's not practical, but it can be done, and I think that's important.
Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit deeper. Let's not leave the topic of fear, but I definitely want to talk about that a little bit deeper. Um, okay,
Oh,
you said
we can tie it
you
in,
can
we can tie it
change.
into fear, like how quickly we can
Exactly.
get rid of fear.
Yeah, so you can
I like that.
change with one decision. What's an example that you've done that with?
You can make it funny. You can make the fear funny, or you can put it in perspective of like not exaggerate it, or you can plan
Okay,
for it.
let's come up with an example
Am
of
I
this
going
because
too much?
I
Okay,
love this thread. No, this thread is really good.
I like this thread too, dude. Like you called it a thread, but go for it, dude. What were you
So
gonna say?
when you can look at fear and kind of laugh at it, kind of like
Yeah,
it's so funny that you're getting nervous about this little thing. It
yeah,
completely it frames it in a different mode where it's like it's not, it loses a lot of power. So that's dancing with it.
yeah.
That's how, you know,
Interesting.
that feeling is still there, but you look at it and you get really interested and you try to like you you throw something else at it so
Hmm.
that like you throw a thought at it like, you know, little 2 year olds can walk onto the stage
Yeah, I'm
and
listening. I'm
and
listening.
talk without being nervous. And so it's kind of funny that like I'm just standing here sweating, and for what reason? because because you really care that much about what all these people think about you. You have to, like, what would you do if you felt nervous about to give a speech, you felt nervous. How would you think about that? How would you make that funny to yourself? How would you laugh at that? I really want to know how you would
I
process it
would
because you
exaggerate it.
exaggerate.
I would exaggerate the importance of this thing because in my mind it's the most important thing in my life. Today we're going to talk about
I love it.
global warming. Now, I know most of you are thinking global warming is hot. That is wrong. It is hotter than it was 50 years ago. Something. Like I don't
I
know.
love
That's what
that.
I
I
would say
love it.
now, but in actuality, I probably would just like God. It's hard to you have to ask someone who's like
You know, I
in
just
the
thought.
point where like they're already having social anxiety, and like ask them how they're gonna cope with it, and then they cope with it, because you're asking me right now, and I'd go up there. I feel so good right now. I like not so good. I would just phrase it good, not so good. I would go up there and I would be like, I would just read the thing and it'd be kind of cool. Yeah. So
You know what I just thought?
what
Exaggerate it. Like you
exaggerate
just
it?
imagine yourself going in front of them, and then you're just so scared that
Yeah.
you just look at them with like these giant eyes,
You son of
and
like
then
yeah
you just like start screaming.
yeah
"Ah! I'm
yeah,
really
and then you go
scared of
back to
you
the thing.
all.
Yeah.
Like you
And
just scream like, "You're all so scary! You're scaring me! Stop scaring me!"
and I'd be sitting there like, But
but
yeah.
it's so
No,
effective.
you're right. You're
It's
right. You're right. It
so
is
it's
effective.
so
Because then, what,
effective.
dude? These people are saying that. Like a lot of people are just sitting there, like in their own like fucking world. Like they're like, okay,
You just
yes, we're in a
imagine that.
conference right now, and then you just go up there and scream, like, whoa, 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 life! Oh my god, life! Who am I? What the fuck? My life is ruined.
Hey, no, that really works for me. Like,
Yeah,
I
dude.
heard somebody
I
say
know.
this. Whenever you're feeling an emotion that you don't want to feel,
Oh
try to
my
feel it
god.
more. Don't try and run away from it.
Why?
Try and feel it more. Because when giving into it, you realize how absurd it is. Like, if you're feeling nervous about like going to give a speech, you're like, oh man, I'm feeling nervous. Instead of trying to feel less nervous, you just try and be like, oh my god, I'm really scared. Like, oh my god, like this is horrible. Like, what's gonna happen to me?
Like I love when people go like
All
they
of a
take the
sudden, you're
time
like,
to
that's
slow
so
down. Yeah.
stupid.
They
Like,
take
you
the time
realize
to
how
like
stupid
slow
it
down
is.
and they be like, I am so scared right now. And it's when they say it, it's so confident and calm that I'm just like, you're gonna kill this. Like, I see it so many times in like projects and stuff. How are you at doing projects like presentations in school?
Nervous, really
Nervous.
nervous. So nervous that like days before, I like have problems sleeping. Like so
Damn.
nervous, yeah. Like the whole day, I just feel like jittery, and then when that actually
Yeah.
happens, it's just like fun. And then you learn that little lesson, but then the next time you still kind of feel nervous. So that's why I like the advice to dance with it, because a lot of times like it is a process of getting rid of it, but not just leaving it there, because for sure, like the more you expose yourself to something, you're gonna feel more and more comfortable with it. So the fear isn't permanent. It's just like rewiring how your brain experiences it.
So you would feel nervous and then you would go up to there and you would have the best time or like a fun time.
Exactly.
You do that.
It's
Yeah.
just because my brain was just always thinking like the worst possible thing that can
Mm.
happen. Um, just caring about how it turns out.
Right,
Not really
dude.
even
Oh
thinking
man.
about like why I'm actually there. Not thinking about like,
Yo.
oh man, like I
I
get
love
to
those
talk
shit. I
about this
love
thing.
those pictures. Yeah, I know, right? Like
I get to. This is gonna be fun. Like I
you
get to
get the
get up
mic.
there and say
You
whatever I
like
want.
yeah.
And they
And
all gotta listen to me for
they
13
all have
minutes.
to listen and they're all about to do the same thing and they're dude,
They have to.
yeah. They
They
have to
gotta
do
just
that. They
sit
have
there. They can't
yeah.
turn their ears off.
No, no, because they gotta write down. My teacher used to make us write down what they were saying and our favorite thing. Or, dude, my something that I wish I would have done more, and I can still do it, but plan, like actually plan. Because when I used to plan out what I exactly was gonna say, and very um, like I remembered everything, I would feel better when I was up there because it was so I was so like I put so much time into it, so it meant so much to me
Mm,
to
mm.
do good. And when yeah, so I feel like that's part of it too, because yeah, because I had a chance to like
You were ready.
practice.
You got valuable stuff that you were gonna throw out to them.
Yeah, and I got
You
so
felt
excited to
proud of
share,
it.
dude.
You were
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that
I was
point,
like,
and
I'm
then
gonna
that
kill it, dude.
point.
I'm gonna give them the best thing. I was writing it down. And I was getting so hyped. I was like, yo, they're not gonna believe what I'm writing now. What I'm sourcing right here. That's not Wikipedia. I'm gonna be like from what site from oceans.com or something. Like, man, I love that stuff, dude.
You
I
got
love.
into it.
Yeah,
You were
yeah,
feeling
yeah,
the
yeah.
privilege.
That's
Okay,
so
so
yeah, the
this has
privilege.
been
Yeah,
this is oh my god. So I've been feeling this.
yeah. Really?
So I used to really look at life like I have to. I have to do this. Why do I have to do this? That makes life so horrible. When I was depressed,
Yeah.
I would even think I got so good at practicing this, man. Like I was a pro complainer and I didn't even realize. Like I would complain and feel like I had to
Yeah,
shave. Like I
you
would be
had to
shaving
shave,
and I
dude.
literally be thinking like, God, this is so pointless. Like I have
Yeah.
to fight the battle against my facial hair's desire to grow. Like I was
Yep.
literally just thinking that everything was like I have to do this. And it took out all the enjoyment. It took out all the
True.
observation. It took out all the funny jokes that I could have felt about it. It took out all the sensations, it is the best way to choke out life, period. Thinking that you have to go to work, thinking that you have to uh, do anything really. Like I have to wash my clothes. You instantly turn
Yeah.
off your ability to enjoy. You turn off your ability to explore
Mm.
how
Possibilities, like, because you when
yes.
you feel like you have to, you know what's gonna happen, you know what order, and you know like the time, and you just make believe you don't know, and then you go through life and blah, 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 and then
Yeah, you're in such a
oh my
horrible
god.
state of emotion that you cannot observe any beauty in anything. You can't enjoy the little things.
I feel like
So
that's what this show, not this show, but another the other show that I was gonna do, Rappers Roundtable. I feel like that with that I have to do it because I'm so excited, and if I don't,
that's
then I'm
different.
missing the why.
Because even having the energy of being excited means that you like it. Because if you have energy and you're excited to do it, then you're kind of like it's a different energy than I have to.
But
Because I
but I
have
mean,
to is like
yeah.
fuck, like I don't want to do this.
But the thing was, like, I don't know what to work on. Like, I don't know what to work on with the show. So it was like I have to be patient to then get to the opportunity to do something. Like, I don't know what else to
Hmm.
work on as far as like the show. Like, because I mean, I have to just do a dry run and then I have to invite the people. But until that dry run is good, I can't start inviting anyone. And I don't know what just. I already wrote the scripts and all the fucking thing, everything, the fucking. Um, so I just don't know.
But it sounds like you're just looking at the process of how things are going to unfold. It doesn't look like you're looking at it like, oh man, I don't want to do this. I have to do this though. Is that accurate?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're talking about two different things. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're talking about just how things naturally unfold, and you have to
Mm.
just let the process happen. You have to let the tree grow. That's
So you're talking about something that you feel like you have to like it could be brushing your teeth or no shaving. So
so when people get into
do you
this
still feel like
mode
that?
of like not wanting to do shit, like I don't want to go to work. I have to go to work. I don't want to I have to go and interact with people at work. I don't want to. That whole feeling of unwillingness. They're saying no to life. They're saying no to cooking healthy food. They're saying I have to cook this healthy food. I have to go to the
Yeah.
gym. I have to go make a living. Bro, I felt that for years, and it's what made me so depressed and so ungrateful. And it's like the root. It's the silliest way to live.
I used to
It's
feel like
so, I didn't even notice I was doing it.
I
Let me
used to
ask you
feel
this.
like I have to be depressed. But go on.
I wanted to ask you, like, what's the
The Wi-Fi is cutting out. Hold on. What's the connection is weird.
opposite of it?
The connection is a little bit weird.
I can
It's
still
good,
hear
right?
you though.
Good, right? Okay.
You said you lived like
Um,
that for a while.
yes, with depression, feeling like
Was
I
it the
have to be
same
depressed.
mindsets? Oh, you had to be depressed.
Yes, and dude, I feel like that, dude. Oh, wow, you just brought something big. Okay, so one thing was I have to feel depressed, and another thing was I have to. Just a random example. I have to study really hard to get a good grade. I have to not have sex. I have to feel pain in certain areas so I can help other people. I have to go crazy so I can show people who are crazy how not to be. Um,
That's a funny one.
like I have to,
The crazy
I have,
martyr.
I have to get the highest vibration of life and see what happens. So I feel you when you say you have to do something. Yes, I
So
do.
did it feel like a drag, like a chore, like a curse? Like you
It
have to do
felt
these
like
things and you
it
didn't
felt
want
like
to.
there was a path, and if I didn't go down the path, I would either eventually, if I didn't go down the path, I would suffer really hard. Like suffering from like it feels, dude. This story is weird because I feel like
Mhm.
I for a long time I felt like there was someone over me that was like making sure I was on the right track, like kind of like a you need to do this, Gavin. We're counting on you, or you're the only one who can do this. Whether it was a
Wow.
God figure before, not anymore, but whether it was a god figure or a aliens or a extraterrestrial thing, I've always felt that. Or maybe it's just me actually thinking, or my
Maybe
parents,
it's
or
like thoughts of everybody, including you, your friends, grandparents, and plus whatever you think is out
it's my
there.
nature too. It's my nature, I think too. Yeah, it's
Okay,
my nature
so
too.
let's dig more into this. So,
Yeah.
you felt all these compulsive desires to have to do these things, or else you would suffer. So, I really want to put that in perspective because I felt that too, and I want to bring some light to this. So, I felt like that too. You feel like you have to do things out of motivation for fear, and so that will get you to do certain things because fear is a really good
Right.
motivation. But the opposite, what I really feel in my heart, really gave me so much perspective instantly. You just change your perspective and you got to practice it because I practiced so long complaining and thinking that I have to do stuff or else. But the perspective change was I get to do this.
Right.
I have the privilege to be alive and to even be able to like go and see things, breathe, exercise, like you get to. Because once I started hearing like all these inspirational teachers, I started to realize gratitude feels the opposite of this. It feels so good. And whenever I would think like, oh, that guy doesn't have legs, he can't go to the gym. All of a
Wow.
sudden, I wouldn't think I have to go to the gym. I'd think, oh my God, I get to go to the gym and squat. And whenever I felt like I get to,
Right.
I just
You're
started
making me
feeling like
change, dude.
more alive. I was like, wow, I don't even realize the privilege of all these things that I literally get to do. And the truth is, the real truth is, you do get to do them. And the more I started seeing things of like, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm alive and I get to do this, I started understanding, wow, everything is really way more profound than I was feeling before. And it felt so much better. Just that one little frame shift. I get to eat this healthy food. I get to work out. I started applying it to like everything in life that I possibly could. I'm still doing it because every so often you start to fall back into that. Like I gotta go to work, but then you're like, holy shit! Like there's people in Cuba right now who are waiting in line all day to get bread. They don't have any money. I get to go to work and survive. Like we take so many things for granted that we literally deceive ourselves that it's not a privilege. But everything is a privilege. Even the fact that I'm here breathing this air, I didn't create myself. I did not earn to be alive. All of a sudden, I'm just here. And I get to experience what it feels like to talk, to breathe, to be alive another day, and do every single little thing. So, the true essence of being alive is that you didn't earn it and that it's a privilege and a gift. And the more we can shift that frame and stop shitting on life,
Mm.
it's exactly what you were talking about. Like one perspective change can instantly change how you see something. This is what I feel. And so I call it willingness. That's actually I didn't coin that. That's what Sadhguru says. It's willingness. If you go from being a no to life to a yes to life, all of a sudden you're more alive. And Jesus Christ, like
Yeah,
even just
dude.
one principle like that, I practice it as much as I possibly can because I just want to be in touch with that truth. Like, dude, we're alive.
Yeah,
We get to still be alive, and like I get to see you
and
react. I get to see you
yeah,
like be Gavin. I get to see you like we're not gonna be around for forever. That's the crazy
I
thing.
know.
Like
One day.
poof.
That's yeah.
Like you could be gone tomorrow. I could be
What
gone
do you think
tomorrow,
about
and then
death, dude?
I don't get to see you anymore. It's crazy.
What is? Do you are you done talking about fear, or do you want to keep going?
We can go wherever, man.
I want to ask you
Go
about
wherever.
like death.
Yeah,
What
let's
do
go.
you? I don't want to ask you like what is death to you. I don't want to ask you that. Oh my god, death. Are you scared? If
I've
are you?
experienced it so
How are
many
you
times.
with death? Like, how do you? Have you ever had anyone die in your family that
Okay,
you like know?
so no, I've only had a distant uncle die, but I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think that this is so important to think about because I think about it. I remind myself every single day. I go through 10 thought patterns. One of them is willingness, and one of them is mortality and death. Because whenever I realized, I realized that whenever I think like you're gonna be dead and you only have like 10,000 more days, like the truth is, I really only have a numbered amount of days, and if I really remember that every single day, I feel better. Like there
I
is a number,
don't.
I just don't know what it is. It brings me out of like this whole feeling of complaining and being petty and worrying about little stupid things like what people said or little things about like how much money I made compared to here or there, and it just makes me, it brings me into like whoosh, like whoa, whoa, like it's all gonna be over. This is all just like a game, and there's a countdown timer, and it's like whoa, why am I
Whoa.
creating
Yeah.
misery?
Yeah. Wow.
Like whoa,
Dude.
like why am I messing with
Wait.
myself? And I'm just like I'm in this different mindset where I'm like whoa, like death, like it really is all gonna end. And then I'm looking at you, I'm like, he's gonna be gone. I look at my dad, I'm like, he's gonna be gone. I only have maybe 1,000 more times to talk to my dad. Like it really is limited. And then I'm just like, why the fuck would I ever hold back any love, any happiness, any laughter because he did this or we're on these terms? So all that pettiness just gets like obliterated when I realize tomorrow he could die. Tomorrow I could die. Car accident, COVID, death does that. I really want to hear how you think about it.
I've never been. I no. I've treated death like, I don't know. I haven't had a lot of people die in my life, but I've seen. So my grandma died when I was in like middle school, and I just wasn't. I wasn't like, I never. I cried, but like not directly about her passing away. It was like, and I was sad, but I just never was like destroyed. Like it was not like,
What did you think?
I was just like, she died. Like it was like a shock in the moment, and then after like a day, I was kind of like, I just felt like life
Did it
didn't really
change you?
change. Like not really. Like
That's how I felt with my uncle. I was so young that I didn't think about this shit enough and it didn't
yeah,
change
like,
me. But what
and
about
I have
nowadays?
hope though. I have hope for like, I don't think it's like, to me right now. If someone died, I don't know how I would feel, but if I was still in this state that I'm in right now, well, that's, I don't want to make up some fantasy, but I don't really know how I would act now. I don't fear my grandpa dying. It's kind of sad. Like no, don't get me wrong. Like it's sad, but it's like, and if my mom died, like I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't know how, because right now it's like, to me right now it's like that can't happen. No way.
Mm.
No, that can't happen.
Mm. Mm.
So it's
Really?
hard for me to like act. So it's hard for me to really say how. Um, like
Have you ever thought like, oh my God, like my grandpa could die tomorrow? And then did that ever make you love him more or feel different about
yeah,
him?
yeah, I have. Yeah, that's plenty of times. Like yeah, and I looked at him. I look at him like sometimes, and I'm just like, you're gonna die one day.
Oof.
You're gonna die. Like boom. And like, what am I gonna do? And I kind of like look at him like, I know I'm not gonna be able to, like right now. It's too much to like love him the extreme way that I feel about that, and how it's like how I could, the potential of loving him, that I know he's gonna die. I don't think I'm going to like do in that moment, like now, right now. But I think like it'll eventually like spill out all the potential love. But yeah, I just, I don't know.
I love how you asked this question. I want to ask you why you asked it, but before you answer, I would just want to say, God, like I really feel experientially that thinking about death is such a truth and a reality that makes me feel more open, loving, and energized. Because, for example, like if I if I focus just for a little while that like you're gonna be dead one day, I'm gonna be dead one day, what does that do to me? Like honestly, I just
I
start
just get
feeling like, hold on,
right
I just
now.
start, I
Yeah.
just
I'm
start
sorry. I'm sorry.
feeling
I'm sorry.
like I gotta tell this guy exactly how I feel. I gotta like laugh as much with this guy. I gotta just like love this guy. Like he's gonna be gone. Like I'm gonna be gone. Like this is amazing that we're still here. Like it's just it makes you feel so much more free, and it makes you feel more valuable to me because I'm realizing that there's only so many more moments with Gavin. And yeah, I love how you brought up death because um it's good to be prepared for it, and I think that's a very healthy thing to think about in the right way. Obviously people can think about it like, oh, depressed that I'm gonna die, but I don't think that it should make people feel like that because it makes me feel way more grateful. It makes it feel like this is so precious, these seconds. And like it makes it feel like I'm not gonna hold back. It makes fear go away, and it makes me feel more free.
Maybe the way we see people can change someone's opinion on death, because if you see people as they're only themselves and then they're never themselves again, like their body, like what, like maybe, because I feel like I have like a perspective of it's not necessarily like their name and then their body and who their personality is. I feel like there's like an energy that comes with someone, and you can see it in other people, and maybe it's like cycled throughout life and in other people too, and maybe other people source that person, or not the person, yeah, the person literally, like maybe not in like the specific way, but like certain parts of that person in different people, and then in actuality it's like that's a part of her, 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 and then when you experience all of that, you just experienced her in a sense. But that might not be what people want. I think they want, but I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like I'm playing with the idea. I'm like I'm playing with the perspective. Basically.
Okay, so is it kind of like you don't take it so sentimentally that if this person dies, that you're gonna
It's not
never
as
be able to
literal,
feel the same sentiments. Like the same sentiments that they represented
right?
are still in other people, and it's not that much of a tragic thing to you. Is that accurate?
Um,
Because they live on in other people in the form of their energy.
yeah, like yeah, and hmm.
It's
Maybe
interesting.
the definition of who someone is I think that's one of the first things you have to think about, because when you define who someone is, and if you're into when you define someone who they are, then that's all they can be, unless proven in a different better way. But if they're undefinable, then they never die because they were never really defined. They were never in stone. So it's not like they're just gonna crumble away. They're just it's like a flow. It's like they never left because there's no leaving or staying.
Yeah, but I totally connect with what you're saying. But a lot of people see the other person as the body and the mind, right? So when
Mm,
the other person dies,
right.
they feel like they're gone forever.
For sure.
But I vibe with what you're saying personally. But like honestly, if
Maybe
somebody
both
dies,
like have.
I
I think
personally
both of
don't
them.
feel like it's super super tragic. We'll see how I really feel when somebody really close to me dies.
Right. Right.
I
Yeah.
can't just pontificate, but like
I know. I know.
it's really important to talk about like dealing with that stuff. I don't know if we're gonna go there today, but when it comes to like beliefs of what happens after you die, that obviously impacts how you're gonna think about death. I personally don't create beliefs if I don't experience things. So I don't personally believe in heaven or hell. I don't personally submit to like reincarnation. I play with the ideas. I love to think about the possibility, but if I'm gonna um, have a belief on something, I have to have personal experience with it. So, how do you look at
Yeah.
that? Because that impacts
What?
how people view death. Like, oh, he's in heaven now, or he's
Oh, heaven and
reincarnated
hell.
eventually, so it doesn't matter.
Damn. Maybe it's a certain part of that. I think is true, and I don't know exact like, and I think that it has something to do with chemicals.
What? What has to do with
Like,
chemicals?
I think your body produces um, DMT when you die, and you get a certain experience
How do you know this? Why do you believe
because
this?
I I don't because it's very I've heard so many people talk about it. I haven't done like the conventional research of like looking up what happens when you die, but I've heard people. I can't think of the names, dude, but um, I know it's talked about a lot. Like your body produces DMT when you die, and then you
How
get a certain
interesting.
experience, and then your body state you're still conscious, like 7 seconds or something, or 7 minutes after you're dead.
With
Like your
DMT.
body
Ooh,
dies.
that's really
Maybe
interesting.
with DMT, but I know you get an experience for sure. Oh yeah,
And that's
oh
why
yeah.
people keep on talking about the light and out of body experiences and God. And
Because your
because
body has DMT. Like I'm almost 100%. I'm like 90% confident that our body produces DMT, but in small doses. Um,
isn't
but
it
you would
from the
have to do the
pineal
research.
gland?
I don't know. Maybe.
I want to Google this right now.
Yeah, dude. Like your body produces DMT, and it's something about 7 seconds or 7 minutes, and you go into like a trip, and maybe it's on a trip, maybe
Pineal
because
gland.
there's no thought patterns. There's so many things are shredded away. All the toxins or whatever, not toxins, but like so many things are stripped from your story of life that when you feel these chemicals, it's like taking a drug. You're not going to feel the same way that you are just on a day to day. Like you just get put into this place, and it's not like a bad thing. It's just you're just shedding layers. You're still like, yeah,
Okay,
you're still the
so
onion, but you still just shedding the layers of the onion. Shed all the track.
DMT is super interesting. DMT gets you experiencing and perceiving life in a completely different way. People who take DMT, I haven't done it. I'm honestly interested in learning how to generate it through yoga practices.
Generate DMT. That's some shit, dude.
Though Joe Dispenza talks about it. I have his book, but
Can you look up
people can
what
smoke
happens?
it.
Yeah.
Ayahuasca, 5-MeO DMT. I've heard videos about it. This is becoming more and more popular. People are more and more curious about this as spirituality starts to spread in America and this whole New Age movement. And this has been in Indian culture, stimulating DMT and being able to perceive different things in life, whether or not you think it opens different dimensions or it just gives you a chemical illusion. Either way, you feel fantastic. And the fact that the idea that you can generate it naturally and have these experiences of profound beauty, divine experiences of love and other beings, and seeing yourself as a completely different creature, a different identity. People say that they feel unlimited, infinite. They feel that they're God. They feel like their nature. Pretty fascinating that we produce that when we die. I never knew that. Where do
I
you
don't
want to
do
go from here? Do
drugs.
you want to talk about
I don't
psychedelics?
do.
Like, how do
I'll show
you
you. I'll show
how do you
you.
feel about that?
I don't. I don't. Um. I don't do drugs at the moment. I used to smoke
Same.
weed. I'm just telling the audience. Hopefully the audience. Like God. Um. But and I. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yes, I felt like certain spiritual experiences before. Spiritual experiences to me are a higher level of awareness and experience
It's
where
like
you're
you
not just the
enter a
physical.
different
It's not
a
out
different
there. It's like,
feeling, like a really
yeah,
different
like
feeling
it's not
of
it's not just
emotion,
internal. Yeah.
intensity. Like, I don't know if
I
this
want to
relates to you.
Yeah,
intensity of
intensity.
feeling, emotion, and um okay, so you want to talk about any of your spiritual experiences?
I want to talk about yours when we first met, and I have it on video.
Mm.
I think it was spiritual experience because you were going, you were we both kind of felt experiential spiritual experience. I felt it different than you did. Um,
Mm.
and it was a full moon, I think. And I pointed it out. I remember that very vividly. I pointed it out and I was
Wow.
like, "Look, there's a full moon," and I felt like a guru. And I'll tell you why. Because I haven't I always love to like kind of guide people through a certain way of thinking and then lead to something and then end up in a state that you were in. And I was so proud that I could do that and that you could get to that point because I know that you went on you walked down something that was just so impactful to you. And I was there to like guide you in a way and then you just walk through. And I have it on film for people who don't know about it. Can I say it?
Of course.
You were crying and it wasn't just like you were crying. It was like you were it was not just a normal cry and you knew you were going to be done. It was like you're crying and it's like, oh my god, it's like you were born again, kind of. And you had like a transformation and I was all on video. I have it all on video. I was just sitting there and you were laughing hysterically, like not controllably, but like not crazy. You weren't crazy, but it was just like you were it was just going through you. It was like it boom, it was like through you, like boom. And then you were just like,
So let's
holy shit.
break
And
this
you were,
down.
yes,
Let's tell everybody exactly what happened. And before we even do that, spiritual experience. Okay,
yeah,
so to me, a spiritual experience just means life starts happening better and you start feeling life at a completely different level. You have some kind of breakthrough, some kind of mindset shifts, some kind of energy gets released. You just feel more alive and it's very intense. And it could happen little by
yeah,
little, progressively, or it could happen boom, and it can be really intense. So for sure, um, it was a spiritual experience, and not that it's like this dramatic, wispy, weird thing. Because anything
yeah.
that
It's
makes you
not like a
feel
dream
more
state.
alive and
Mm,
um, brings you closer to truth, like you drop some bullshit in your mind, like I don't have to be afraid of that, or oh, I'm not this, or you just realize like I don't have to think that way. If you forgive someone, that's the spiritual experience because it makes you feel more alive. So, anyways,
I'm gonna can I point something out? I don't
yeah.
I don't think that it was as spiritual. Like I'm curious. I'm thinking to myself, what is spiritual? Was that spiritual? Like, is spirituality when you feel something more intense, or like more like maybe? I feel like spirituality is coming out of your body and mind. Like you're the person you're experiencing something through the spirit that's not your body and mind.
Okay, so what
Where
I feel
maybe
like what you're saying is like, um, you have an experience
different
that's
dimension.
beyond what you've ever known before,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, cool.
So I would agree
Okay.
with that, but I would also include any fundamental change to your to anything that's holding you
Fundamental.
back that helps you feel more alive. So let's say you break free from a mindset that's been holding you back, like low self-esteem. And so you feel so much more alive. Maybe that's not spiritual as in terms of like um mysticism,
Maybe
but
spirituality is a part of it. Maybe spirituality is a part of it.
but what I'm really after, Gavin, is feeling more alive. And spirituality, to me, is the
Sure.
process of awakening to more and more life. And it's just semantics, but everybody, I feel like everybody's on the spiritual path. It's because everyone's alive. It's just a matter of how conscious you're making your life better. Like, what do you do to feel more alive? How do I become full-fledged? Is there more out there? How do I get
Mm.
so free that I could really
I love it.
experience something else out there? Everything else out there. So until we get to the level where we're like tripping on DMT because we're doing yogic experiences and
Yeah,
breathing exercises and we're like, "Oh my god, I'm seeing past lives," or like, stuff like that. The process of just improving your life, the process of becoming more and more alive and feeling more stable, strong and exuberant and happy, um that's like that's the path to like
yeah.
accessing accessing all these other things. I
Hold on,
feel
my
like
grandpa's
that's
calling me. One sec. If you can pause this, I believe. If
I
you,
can just tell everybody about
all right,
like
go
how we
tell the
met
story.
and
I'm gonna be
everything.
back. It'll be like 5 minutes. Hold on.
5 minutes. Hey, can you still hear me? Hey,
Yeah, my
so
grandpa's.
I'll just wait for you. I'll just wait for you. What we can do is do a little bit of research on the pineal gland and on DMT. I'm gonna type in
All right.
what does DMT do. You're back?
Yeah, that was quick, right?
That was a fast 5 minutes.
I know.
Okay, awesome.
I have
So
to go to the store.
you're the Flash.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what happened was me and Gavin met at Veg Fest, and I see
Vegan
him in
festival.
this
Sorry.
video, and he's just recording these people. I see him, I'm like, this looks
Oh,
fun. So I walk
yeah,
up, and
yeah.
he's asking these really good questions to this lady. He's like, let me try and remember exactly what you were saying. You're like, what does being vegan mean to you? Like, how does it change your life? Like, questions that are really meaningful, right? And then she's saying her thing, and I'm like, I'd like to answer that. And so, like, this guy's like
I
videotaping
turn
me.
around and I'm like, whoa, like someone else is involved. Like, well, I just felt like this, like immediate, like this guy's cool. Like, I don't know what it was. It was like,
I kind of had that with you. I was like, this guy's pretty cool asking these good questions. So
I
they
was
were
like, I
meaningful
would have
questions.
never, yeah, yeah.
And then after we were still talking about like real talk. It felt good.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's real talk. This guy's not like nervous. This guy's saying like pretty deep things. And so
I
we made
couldn't
the
believe
video.
you were listening to me, but yeah, go on. I'm sorry. I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. And we were with this girl Juliet, and she was on the same vibe too. She was cool. We were all laughing. We're like talking about being vegan and like healthy and not being asshole vegans who like judge everybody. So anyway,
Mm.
um, like we go around.
Asshole me.
He he videotapes a lot of other people. Me and Juliet hang out, and we all hang out. Feel free to throw in anything, by the way.
Okay.
Just throw in anything.
I couldn't imagine. I was amazed by how much you were listening to me, and I was like, "Whoa, this guy's listening to me, like really listening." I was so honored. Like I felt like I was ruling like I felt like I was speaking to everyone because you were listening to me, and I was like talking about that person, and I was like I just got this like immense feeling of like, wow, like. I felt like the camera was on me. You were just looking at me like you,
because you were making comments
like,
that were different. I was like,
and I,
this guy's observing different
yeah,
things, and the things that he
yeah,
says are like really funny and interesting. And it was just we were vibing. We were like,
yeah,
I was like, I like how this guy sees stuff. It was light. It wasn't stranger. It wasn't like that stranger thing where it's like
right.
say a few things and then walk away. It was like, no, just like have fun in the moment, keep on having fun, keep on laughing. And then we literally hung out for like that whole time, like 6 hours. But in between
I want to
that,
know. Yeah.
what do you want to know?
Oh, and then you talk to them, and I was filming you, and then you were, what happened after that?
So this night, this whole day was so cool because we had the cops called on us. We
Oh,
laughed. We laughed
you're
so hard that we
right.
cried. We made a
Yeah.
girl cry, and then I
Yes.
cried more than anybody combined.
Oh my god. And then you almost got into a fight, right? Didn't you almost get into a fight?
With who? I don't remember that.
Remember you were like smiling up at this guy, or you said maybe that was a different time. You were telling me a story.
I think that was a different time. I don't
Did you
remember
have this
almost
like
getting in a fight.
you look so Israeli? Like I thought you were
When?
Israeli at first. The
At
first time I
Fest
saw you, and then the whole time
That's
I thought
awesome.
you were Israeli the whole time. And I still low key
like Jewish or like
yes, from Israel.
hey,
Born.
hey. I
And
love the
I thought
Israeli
that
look. Is it
and
my skin tone?
everything about everything about you is
It is my reverence towards
screams
the
Israel.
father.
Everything you were wearing, everything you said, and I have a video of the first time we met. Literally, I
That's
turned the
awesome.
camera and think I met you. Ever.
And the funniest thing was at the end of the night when we're like, dude, that was awesome. We're saying goodbye. We're like hugging. I'm like, what's your name
Yeah,
again?
it felt like the last day we were gonna. Yeah.
And
Oh
then you're
my
like,
God.
this guy doesn't even know my
We
name.
were hugging, dude. I was like thinking to myself, like, I feel like just staying, like this is the first day of the rest of my life, like type of feeling, like.
Bro,
And I was
I
like, we're
knew
never
for
gonna.
a fact that I met a good friend that I was never gonna stop hanging out with.
Dude, I
It's
was
that kind
laughing
of a
my.
thing.
I was like in my mind, just like admiring how funny this was because I
It
know
was
later on
great.
you were gonna see this and like, man, I have it on my phone, dude. I really hope I have it. So I think.
It was
Damn.
awesome. So we got the cops called on us.
Yeah, tell him that. Jesus, what is that? What could
At
that
a veg
possibly be
fest.
for? At a veg
Oh my
fest,
We ate meat.
like, like I know,
So
right?
so that girl Juliet, we were vibing
Yeah,
with her.
Juliet.
She
Yep.
was so nice. She has
Yep.
like a parrot and everything, a YouTube
I
channel.
know.
And she
I
was
always
this
think of the
like really
parent.
soft-faced, nice, genuine, laughing person. I really like her. And she was so fun to be with. And we're all hanging out. She has to go to the bathroom, so she gives Gavin the purse, which looked great on you, by the way.
Oh, thank you
And
very much.
and so what do? We go to the middle of the auditorium, and we just take out the
I was
phone. We start
expecting that.
watching these ASDF like slapstick animation videos, and no lie,
Slapstick, yeah.
remember we were just laughing like so
Oh yeah.
hard, like scream laughing, like crying laughing at the stupidest thing for like an hour just watching stupid videos. And I'm feeling high.
Yeah.
Like I was feeling
Yeah, I
so
know I
high.
dude.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm
I was
laughing
like,
harder than
I
I've
was
laughed
looking at the
in so
ceiling
long.
like I'm going up there. Like I just felt like my head,
It was
like I
intense.
couldn't. I just wanted to like yeah.
It was so much laughter, and this is after we like got over the preliminary being comfortable with each other. Like we hung out
Yeah.
for like 2 hours, and then we were just high
Went outside.
laughing.
Oh my god, we went outside. We saw these people doing like handstands, I think, and you were talking about how you
Yeah,
do handstands, and you just did a
we did
handstand.
handstand.
I was
It was
looking at you
good.
guys like I want to learn handstands, and I'm going to learn handstands, and it's gonna take me years. And
That was pretty
yeah,
fun. But that was like baby stuff compared to hang out with you, to be honest. Like I was laughing so
yeah,
hard, I was crying. Like I felt so free and lighthearted. And this is still kind of like at a point where I wasn't depressed, but I wasn't really like super happy either. So I just knew like, oh my god, like I love laughing with this guy. And so
yeah.
anyways,
Oh,
then we
yeah.
were just kind of like feeling high, walking around. It was probably like after sunset. And then we're just talking. We're talking about like meditation. Gavin's like, I'm always meditating. I'm just like, oh, tell me more.
Oh my
We're
god, that was
talking
so
about
bullshit.
like,
First of all,
thank you for admitting that.
because
I've heard that
like
one a couple times.
I
I'm always
literally
meditating.
I was trying to like literally I was
I
trying to
love that
like
line.
spew as much bullshit as I could, as much like philosophical, like I'm a genius, they don't see me, bro, type of stuff.
I kind of felt that, but at the same time, I kind of
And I
wanted
knew I
to
was,
see exactly how you felt. I
yeah,
felt like you kind of had like you had certain insights that some of it was legit, but like,
Yeah, some of
yeah,
it was spook, but
yeah.
you know,
But like, I had fun seeing what you had to say anyway. And so we're just walking around. It's dark. We're not even thinking about like I have somewhere else to be. We've already been hanging out like 4 hours. People are leaving. We're kind of like the only people left. And
mm.
then we
Yeah,
see
literally.
we see that girl Juliet sitting on a bench with this guy, like trying to like pat her on the back and comfort her, and she's crying. And I
Right.
think I'm talking to you, and I'm like, I think, oh man, what happened to
You come out of the
Juliet?
bathroom, right?
Well, we were just like walking around, but she was like underneath the overhang, sitting on a bench, like bawling. And my first thought was like, don't interrupt. Um, she has somebody else like comforting her. Don't intrude. And we almost walked by, but then I think, oh my god, like I'm so curious. I just want to know, and I kind of feel like, I wonder why she's crying. I don't want her to cry. So we go up to her, and she looks at us, and she kind of just looks at us like surprised. I was like, "Hey, you okay?" And she's like, oh my god!" Like she's still crying. She's like, "Oh my god! Like you guys are here! Like what? Like I thought that you guys stole my purse. Like you guys have my purse?" And like Gavin's like, "Oh my god! Like I do. It's in my backpack." So Gavin gives her purse, and she's like, "Oh my god! I thought you guys betrayed me. Like I called the cops on you guys. Where were you guys?" Like she felt so betrayed, and we're just standing there like,
Right.
"Holy crap!" And she literally thought that we stole everything, and she was like broken up. And then we were like, we were just watching like we were watching slapstick videos in there. We're so sorry. And then I was like, I'm glad the cops didn't arrest us. What can we say to like comfort you right now because you feel betrayed? And she's like, I don't know how to feel right now. I just feel so confused, and I can't.
And then someone told
I
her
can
to
handle
go. Like,
this.
I remember someone
Yeah, that
someone was
guy.
like, I think you should just are you able to go home? Do you need me to drive you? That's what a guy said. And then I felt like I fucked up. Like I
Mm,
felt guilty for having fun.
mm, mm.
Um, because I was like, man, I had fun instead of paying attention to life, like paying attention to like what I promised someone, and it was like I'm never gonna. It was a big thing. It affected me. I think.
Wow. Yeah, I don't blame you because yeah, it's like you accidentally caused that pain by your unawareness, but you can't really blame yourself. I'm sure you didn't beat yourself up, but
Yeah,
yeah, I kind of felt bad too, but at the same time, it was just interesting how like yeah, your perception can be totally the cause of all your suffering, yet it didn't even happen. Like we didn't betray her, but you can't blame her for feeling like that either. Anyways, what happened? Why was I so emotional? What were we talking about? We were talking about like
I think
knowing the
I think
truth. I feel like that's what we were talking about, like
I think you
knowing
were
the
in a
truth
state
of
where it was just like
spirituality.
all of like the you were just brought into such a genuine place that it was you were waiting for it or something. Maybe you're waiting for it.
I'll tell you because
And
I still remember the
yeah,
feeling because it was pretty intense. But um, just to be transparent, I have feelings like that a lot. Like I will cry intensely just because I have intense feelings of gratitude, um, love, curiosity. Like when I meditate, I'll probably cry like once a week, really hard, like good cry, like really good cry of like I'm so happy to be alive, or I'm
for sure.
so curious about what is happening in life, like what is really happening and what is like the best thing that can possibly happen. I'm so curious about everything that um, seekers and spiritual gurus are talking about. I'm so curious about what God is. I'm so curious about the nature of my life is. I'm so curious how to become like more loving and more happy. And I'm so grateful for like all my friends. I'll think about all my friends. Their faces will flash in my mind, and
Why
I'll
are you
just
crying?
like,
Why are you crying?
yeah, yeah, and I'll just be so like so happy that I know them, and I'll know that everyone's on a journey together, and everyone's like fighting and struggling sometimes, but then everyone's like enjoying life and like becoming better. and it's like this journey. Everyone's on this story. Everyone's on this
Yeah.
journey, and I'm like, here we are, and everyone's like searching for joy. Everyone's searching for like a better feeling. Like everyone's trying to become better. Like not everyone is, but there's a lot of like shit going on for people and nobody wants to feel that shit and everyone wants to feel happy. And so I'm just like, how do we all just feel happy? How do we all just win? How do we all just like become like a better team and like yeah, feeling like we're on a team, we're fighting together and it's really intense.
Like,
Like
how do I have to be so everyone is happy? Like, how do people have to be so everyone's happy? So everyone's like 100%. Or I think that's a part of full
right.
fledged life. I think that's one of our missions, dude.
Yeah, it's like how
Sure.
you are affects how I am and vice versa. And same thing with everybody in the world. Like every thought and every action is like an influence that goes out into the world that affects people and it makes the world how it is and then everyone's experiencing this thing. And so like how I am really matters and how you are really matters. And like we're
Sure.
all interesting characters in this life, in this game, in this simulation, and it's just like it's playing itself out and it's really mysterious and it's really intense and it's really fun and funny. And so I think I was thinking about that kind of thing. I was like at that moment on that night when we were hanging out and nobody else was there, it was like midnight and we're sitting on that bench and we're talking about this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking like I remember having this feeling like, oh my god, like we're both here and we're both talking about all these really like interesting things, and I just want to know so bad, and I don't know how to get to know, and I just feel like, is there any way to know? Because we're talking about spirituality, we're talking about um, we're talking about happiness, we're talking about. Do you remember some of the specific topics we're talking about?
Like today.
No, like on that night.
Um, yes. Oh fuck. Spirituality. I know was a big thing. Happiness. Like what you want to do, I guess. Um,
Mm, yeah.
how
I
to
got so
how to
emotional about it.
enlightenment, like enlightenment too. Yeah,
Oh yeah, the idea of
I remember.
enlightenment. Jesus
Yep.
Christ. The idea of enlightenment. I got so
Sure.
emotional about all this stuff. I think I was really crying because I have this strong desire to know, and
Yeah.
I felt like I was so curious and I didn't know how to get to know. And when you just feel like that feeling of being
Mm.
lost, like I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do for like my career. So like it wasn't like a blissful crying, to be honest. At that moment, it was kind of like I'm kind of confused and I really want to know the truth. And like it was a mixture of like good cry and like a little bit of pain, but it was more good. I did feel more like intense good. Like I was kind of laughing in the cry. Remember? Like
Mm.
I was bellowing, like I was
Yeah.
laughing.
Yeah.
Like I would cry and I would like laugh, but it would be like a laugh and a cry. And yeah, it's interesting because man, like not a lot of people would even stick with a conversation with me with that. Like a lot of people don't even um they don't go there because they're either stuck in like religion, so they think they know the answer, so they won't even like be able to talk about this kind of stuff because they'll just be like, "Well, don't you know that Jesus is the only way?" So they won't heighten your curiosity and explore these things with you. Or they'll kind of just be on the other end where they're like, "What the hell are you talking about? Like this is not worth talking about. Like I want to talk about the dolphins." Nothing against the dolphins, but some people just aren't curious. And a lot of people are kind of like closed-minded to the idea of like yoga or meditation or the idea that there could be any anything further in terms of like spirituality, God, self realization. And so I felt really connected and blessed that like we met and that like somebody else wants to talk about this stuff because I can't stop thinking
Definitely.
about it and I can't stop being
Right?
curious. I cannot stop being curious.
For sure.
Do you feel like it's almost inevitable that there has to be more and that
Yeah.
somehow you can discover or experience more, whether that's better emotions or like, do you feel like this need to explore yourself and the universe? Like, I
I
feel
kind of
like
want to go
that's
into like different realms of life. Like I want to like astral project. Like I want to see a lot of stuff, and like I want to see like aliens. Like I guess I know people see them in like their dreams sometimes, like or whatever. Like you can create dreams and stuff, but I want to like meditate. I want to get into like a meditative state where like because there was one time when I was just in my I was meditative state, and that was like my whole it was like warping, and I could
what was
hear it
warping?
in my brain, life. Like everything was like it was like I was like go when like water is going down like this thing. Well, that's what it felt. It felt like everything was going down. Eventually, it was gonna go bloop, and then everything it was gonna take everything with it, and I was gonna come to. And I felt that for so such a small amount of time, different times in my life that I want to like explore that more, and I've always been interested in that, and that's where it kind of got into like crystals and spirituality, and I'm really interested about astral projection and lucid dreaming. Really want to do that.
I'm super curious about all these different states that people are talking about too. Like you have
Right.
almost every religion, and you have so many personal anecdotes of people saying that they've experienced these profound states where they're
Yeah.
perceiving everything as themselves. And
Right.
that
Oh,
doesn't
I
make
felt
any
like that
sense.
when I was high, dude. Oh my god. I'll tell you about it. I was looking at like myself, and like I was almost like controlling it, like what I was thinking, and then I went and did it. And then I was like, whoa. Like and then like I kind of came out of myself. It was almost like I froze and I felt myself freeze, and I went and put all my energy, like soul came out of my body, went and looked at the faucet in my bathroom and put myself in that position, and then went
Wait,
back
you
in my body,
experienced
and I
this
was
on
like,
what drug?
weed.
Hmm. Most people don't astral project on weed.
And I was smoking. Oh my god! One time I was smoking, and I could see. I got this like image that I could see that I was inside the weed. That I was like inside my bowl, like inside the area, and like my eye was inside the area where the weed was burning, and I could see it. And then I just transitioned easily back into just me smoking, and I was like, wow, this is some good ass weed. Like, no, I didn't think that, but like, um, man, I had some really cool things on weed. That's why I liked it so much. I was just like in my bathroom most of the time, just exploring the spiritual. It was like you get a spirituality pill smoke like thing, and to me, and then you just have your bathroom to like explore it, and like just looking around, like, wow, holy shit. Like, well, and then I would always look in the mirror, and I thought the mirror. I think the mirror is so fascinating to me because it was like you're seeing yourself. It's like whoa, and I would always like sometimes one time a couple of times I went into like a psychotic thing very short amount of time, and I looked at myself and I saw another person in me. So there was another person, like I was me, like I was in my body and everything was good, but when I looked in the mirror there was someone else, and because it's a reflection of yourself, it's light that's going through the mirror, and then it's going through your eye, and you're seeing it. So I think I just didn't recognize that person in the mirror. You know what I'm getting at?
So it's like drugs are super interesting, and I don't want people to stigmatize it and be like, "This is stupid," because um, what fascinates me is that anything that you can experience on a drug, you can experience by your brain creating the same thing. And
Yes.
how do you know that? Okay, so India has a science called yoga, and yoga is the science of being able to influence your own um, organs and glands to secrete the chemicals like through the pineal gland that create different experiences of perception. So you have cannabinoid receptors, which means your brain can create its own cannabinoids. And literally, there's been people doing this since the beginning of time. And yeah, I've felt different states doing yoga and breath work. And it's true. You can alter how you perceive and see the world. And it's trippy. It's fun. It's like an exploration. Um, so I don't want people to be like, this is dumb, because certain people have a stigma against drugs.
Yeah, like
My fascination
superficial.
is being able to generate it on your own, because I personally
Same.
I don't want to have to like
Yeah.
have the side effects of the drug, but the real reason
Yeah. Like some.
is that I want it to be permanent. Like I want to change how I perceive
Mm,
things
more
um
permanent. I see you. I hear
permanently.
you.
Not that I'm against doing drugs. Right now I'm not gonna do DMT or ayahuasca, but I definitely don't judge anybody who does it because it's interesting. It's
It
super
is.
interesting.
I love hearing stories about it, but like when I hear stories, it's like there's something missing with that to me. Like it's just
You
like,
have to experience it.
yeah,
And that's where the curiosity comes in. That's where the seeking comes in, because you're not stupid enough to just believe it just because someone says it, but you're not stupid enough to just assume that it's not true, because that's also a blunder because you don't have any evidence that it's not true. So the truly honest person will seek and they'll be curious, or they just won't be curious and they won't ever experience that dimension. And so that's where seeking comes in. And so I never wanted to assume for sure this is how it is. There's definitely not a god. There's definitely no more to be experienced, because then, boom, you don't know that. You just lied to yourself. You don't know that for sure, and you can't also say there's definitely no god. You can't say there is. You can't say that there's not. You have to search and seek if you really want to know the answer, or you can just ignore it and just live a normal life. But in terms of just feeling better, I feel like everyone just wants to feel better. And what that practically means is just understanding yourself so that you know how to think and act and do so that your life just is better. So really,
can
God,
I
we
mention
talk
something?
about,
Can I
yeah, yeah.
try? I was doing it while you were talking, and I was like, what if I do it right now? Like what if I just meditate right now, like for like 2 seconds? And so
Mm.
I closed my eyes and I spun my head around, and then I stopped doing it, and then imagined like the same thing I was doing with my head, do it in your mind, I guess. Like imagine it's still doing it, but you just stopped your head from moving, and see if you can get that spinning feeling of everything's like it's just like, but like a light spin, and but you're just still.
And what happened?
You just get this like, like almost like a um
So this is the kind of stuff that most people won't ever do, but this is the kind of stuff that people who've
yeah.
explored spirituality have really they've done. They've tried to understand what happens when they use their mind in certain ways, when they put their attention in certain ways, what happens when I concentrate and watch my thoughts. I mean, meditation is so fucking interesting to me because the first time I ever closed my eyes and I was told to just watch the thoughts, and you don't know what thoughts are going to happen because you don't create the thoughts. The thoughts are going to happen. And once I started watching my thoughts, I was like, "Oh my god, like it's true. Like these thoughts are just happening." So I'm not even creating these things. Like I'm just watching them. What does that mean? Like, does that mean that throughout the day it's happening like that too? Like thoughts just come. And then if you really try to watch the thoughts long enough, you'll start to lose the ability to watch it. And sometimes the thoughts will just suck you in and you'll just start going with them and you won't be watching them anymore. And so the whole idea that you can have like the observer watching the thoughts happen rather than um rather than kind of just like being in them, kind of like you're in the dream instead of just watching like a movie and realizing I'm watching a movie. You think that you really are the movie. You think you're the movie. So
Mm, yeah.
when you're the movie, um, you have no freedom because you have no influence over those thoughts. You are the thoughts. So you have no freedom to change them. You're just going to continue to think them. But when you're watching the thoughts happen, it's really interesting because then you're noticing what's happening inside your own brain. And so when you're watching them happen, you're not identified with them. And then you're just curious about them. And you can think about, you can say, oh, that's what's happening in my brain. But I don't have to think that way. And it gives you this power, this perspective to understand, whoa, I can think differently. And it gives you this pseudo control where you're not just like a robot just being run by like a program, a memory. So meditation is just really curiosity to me. Like it's just being curious and looking at what's really happening. And there's so much there. And like the fact that you did that just means that you're so curious and you're a mad scientist about your own brain and your own thoughts and you're just like you're doing stuff that people usually don't do. People are usually just thinking like, let me get on Tinder, let me check my bank account, let me
I still
post
do
funny
that.
videos.
That's
And
like,
so nothing against any of that stuff, but it's cool to be able to explore different things.
mm,
And it definitely opens up a
definitely.
lot of different possibilities.
I think a lot of people are. I think they are. I see it.
I agree. I agree. There's definitely a surge of people breaking free from like
Even on TikTok, well, I would never think they're talking about like a lot of people are talking about like manifestations, and I'm thinking to myself like, that's a spirituality thing, and then I'm like, wait, not really. Like, but um, I love what Sadhguru said about manifestations. How it's not really manifestate like manifestations. I don't know what he said about it, but I just like that. I don't, that's weird. I do that a lot. Like, I'll think about something that someone said, and I'll be like, I love what he said, but I don't know what he said.
because it's inarticulate knowledge. You can't like
I
remember it,
resonate with the
but
feeling of what I felt. It's not good. I shouldn't do that.
there's
I shouldn't do that
no, it's good that you
all
tried.
the time.
No, it's good that you tried because you trusted yourself to go down that path. And even though you weren't able to get it out, you still went there and it's no big deal. Like, because the other option is to not even like, well, I guess the other option is to like think about it until it may come to you. There's definitely people who are thinking along these lines, and there's definitely a lot of people who don't. I want people to think about this kind of stuff more. I want to think about this more. We're gonna be making different um, videos about all this kind of stuff, and this has been a really long video. This is almost 2 hours.
Solid.
This has been really good. This has been fun. Um,
I want to send
what
this to people. I feel like I've never heard anything like this before on YouTube.
Well, I'm really curious about what other people want to know about. Guys, if anything resonated, please tell us. Comment
They
it
will.
below.
They will. Yeah. They
Let us
watched this
know,
part. Oh yeah.
guys. I just want to say this. Like, I feel like I really want to connect to other people out there who are like me, who have been really sad, really depressed, who maybe they're still there and they want to break free from it. You can break free from it. I want to talk about that more next time, and I also want to talk about the people who are really curious about this stuff. People like Gavin. Let's connect. Like I really want to connect to people who are feeling the same way, who want to dig into this. How do we be happier? How do we
Sure.
strategically be able to like create the life that we want? I want to talk about um, wisdom, success. I want to talk about spirituality, and there's a lot of things, but I'm really just feeling like um, there's a lot of people out there in pain, and it doesn't have to be that way because we're here, and we're alive. And if you look around, we're here to experience strong life and exuberant life and happiness and joy. And you see that in the birds, you see that in the trees, you see that in children. The core nature of being alive is like strong, intense, beautiful, and
Mm.
it's only in our own mind that we start being stressed and sad, and it's really just thinking. It's really just thinking, and it's really just doing things that kind of fuck you up, like eating wrong and not doing natural things. And it doesn't have to be that way. This isn't the most complex thing, but I certainly was fucking up my life with just the way that I was thinking, and it doesn't have to be that way. When I hang out with you, man, I just feel life is simple. Life is I feel strong. I feel like life is on, and I feel way more alive. And it's not this complex weird thing. It's natural. It's natural to be full fledged. Everybody wants to, and there just needs to be a little bit of clarity because it's so easy to fuck it up too. So I want to wrap this up. Anything you want to say to everybody, man?
I think that was a great exit. That was good. I like that. I'm serious. Like, um, so yeah, just because you're not your best now doesn't mean you're not good enough. Or no, I don't want to say that. I want to say
You can always improve, right? You can always feel
yeah.
better. Like never give
I
up.
wanted to say
Like
something about like fulfillment, like and being full. Like I wanted to talk about that, but like just you can still do something even though you don't feel full, or you can still do it just as good to your full potential. Doesn't
mm,
mean just because you're not in the process of getting better doesn't mean where you are is not your best. Because where you are right now, you're always your best. Now,
mm,
you're not your best, not your best. If you're thinking that you're not like you're not is because you're living in the future and you're always waiting for that future self to come, but it's not going to come because the present is where you are now. So yeah, so you're always your best. You're always your best. I think so. Like um, so you're gonna get
nice.
better. You're gonna get better, but you're right now you're your best.
Yeah, no need to judge it. Just
You're
enjoy where
not.
you are right now.
Yeah, and if you're not fulfilled, like if you're not fulfilled, that's the part of you wanting to be better. You're going to be better.
Yeah. One of the best things that you told me was you're never behind. And I think
Yeah,
that's like what you're saying now is like don't judge, just enjoy where you are. Like you're alive. Like you're alive. Enjoy
yeah.
where you are and let life unfold. As soon as you relax and
The
start having
process.
fun,
Yeah,
process, you're you're already you're already unfolding and improving, and it's 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 not work. You get to
yeah. Like
it's fun. Like it's fun. Like just
there's
start
no one
having
has an edge
fun.
on you. No one has an edge, and no one's above you and no one's below you. They could be if you create it, if you want to live
Yeah.
in that.
There's no need
But
to think about it like that though.
but
It's just
there's a lot of people who are that's not even a thought in their head so it doesn't exist. You can make it
Yes.
exist, and you can make it not exist. Guess what? We're a fucking magician. You can be a magician with your life. All of a sudden, just say, you know what? Fuck, no. Boom, no fear. Sometimes snapping is good. So you can kind of hypnotize yourself. We'll talk about this in the next one. This is like a prequel. You can hypnotize yourself. I've done it. Not being high or anything. You have to like know yourself and how to hypnotize yourself. You can just say, boom, no fear, and then you play the role of you acting like you just got hypnotized, and then you're actually hypnotized. It's hypnotism. Like
Yeah, it's like realizing that whoa, like I can start acting however I want right now.
right now, yeah.
Like
You hypnotize
you can
yourself.
start playing around with
You
different
could be
thoughts and
so many
ideas and
things to yourself.
identities
It's
and
crazy. You could be your friend. You could be your own friend. You can make your friend. You could create your friend and how your friend would be to yourself. You're you're living out what you think. You're living out a different. It's like the same style of when you're dreaming. You're just living in a physical realm. So the same style, like you can create stuff. You can like,
that's
um,
fun. That's so fun.
yeah,
It's like I feel like your energy is kind of like your whole entire life in your mind is kind of like a playground where you can start making like anything that you
yeah,
want. It doesn't matter what
yeah,
happens to it. You're just like I can start doing anything I want right now. Check this out, and it's kind of just like for fun.
yeah. But it's not everything. It's not everything. It's just like some. But you can play a game with yourself. You can say you're doing everything you want and only do the things that you know is attainable. So that's an illusion of thinking that you're doing everything you want. You could do it, dude. There's no pro. That's We don't realize how much fucking elusive stuff we do on a daily basis, and then sometimes people hear that and they go, "Oh, but that's elusive. I don't want to be elusive." Dude, all of a sudden you don't want to be elusive. All of a sudden, like you just don't want your life to be elusive, but you do so many fucking things that's elusive in your life. Like, what the fuck? Like, so clearly we contradict ourselves a lot because we're always changing, we're always experimenting, trying to explore, be better, and critique or whatever you do. I don't know. That's what I do. So
What do you mean elusive? Before we wrap up.
elusive. I have to come up with an example now. So thinking that someone made you sad or someone made you stressed, where they, because of what they did, they made me stressed. So their action caused me to be stressed. That's elusive. You have a choice to how you react. Sometimes you don't, because sometimes it could be chemical. Like you could have a
Oh,
chemical
playing the
imbalance,
victim.
and that's another. Yeah, exactly. Like,
Okay, that's what you mean. Okay.
yeah, not always. Like not always, because sometimes you can be have a physical imbalance or PTSD, and that could be like something medical, and then in that case, then it would be like that. That's not elusive. So I just wanted to point that out for people who, yeah, fuck, like yes, yes, it's okay to be elusive. It's a part of fucking life. Don't take everything so fucking literally. Damn it. Yes.
Yeah, so I love this. We'll close it on here that you can create your own reality in your own mind. Life is really as fun as you make it or as shitty as you make it. Um, the second you realize that you're the creator, you can start creating all kinds of beauty and fun, and you don't have to take it so seriously.
Yeah,
And
no one could touch
you
you.
don't have to
Like,
label everything. You don't have to label yourself. You don't have to label your performance. It's all just like it's all what you've created in your mind. You can unravel it and you can recreate it. And we're going to be talking about this next show.
oh
Let's dip
yeah.
into recreating your mind, hypnotism. We'll dip into things like affirmations, visualizations. We're going to be talking about Dr. Maxwell Maltz, psychocybernetics, how to change your brain, how to change how you perceive life, how to change your self image. And Gavin's going to be talking about hypnotism. And we're going to be talking about some really cool stuff so that you can
Damn.
start playing around and taking
I would want
charge
to
and
watch this.
creating.
I want to watch this. Like, so, like, like,
Part of the joy, man, is I get to see what the hell you're gonna say about hypnotism. I
yeah,
got a
dude. I
book
don't know
right
what I'm gonna
here
say.
about hypnotism. I'm gonna give it to you because I'm not reading that. I want to see exactly what hypnotism is because it sounds like some cool magician stuff.
I know,
So
I know. I don't know, but yeah,
we're
I
signing
know.
out, guys.
Yep. Peace.
Comment below what
Yeah. Follow, share, subscribe.
do all that stuff, but I really want to know. I want you to leave your comment on the topics that you want us to talk about and what touched you the most in this episode. We want to know what's resonating with you guys. Let us know what you care
We will
about
talk about that.
and what resonates with you. Guys,
Yeah.
we love you. Thanks for tuning in. We're on this road together. We're going to explore a lot more stuff and stay frosty.
Stay frosty.